In November, It's a Man's World will be released. What kind of record is it for you?
Well, it's as far as It's a Man's World coming out now, it's been a long time since I put a record out. Especially one that I feel quite artistically passionate about. Since the Anastacia album, I think that's the last, well, The Greatest Hits was probably the last record I put out that I felt as impassioned by. So it means a lot just to me as an artist.
How so impassioned now and not with the last record, for example?
I allowed the direction of my music to be altered by the suggestion of the record company. You know, work with different producers, have a little bit of an R&B sound, that kind of thing. So I didn't know what that would do, you know, particularly. And I trusted in their opinion of where music had gone since I had last put out music, and it was a new record company. So I thought it was being, well, I guess I assumed that I was just being, what is the word I'm looking for then? Well, I can't find it.
But then what's the reason you were okay with it in the first place?
Okay with what?
With the direction the company sent you?
The reason why I was okay with it is because it's a record company that has sold billions and billions of records, and why would you question a record company that sold billions and billions of records? It's kind of silly, you know? So I didn't really question it. I thought, you know what, I'll try it. And it was something I tried, but not something that I really realized I connected as much with as I connect with my soul pop rock Anastacia that I believe I found within my career.
So this won't happen again, this having blind faith in your record?
No, I think that blind faith is how I've led my life, my entire life. You can't go through life unless you actually have a little bit of blind faith, because you would travel on the safe road and there would be no exciting skyscrapers, and there would be no fabulous art, and there would be no fabulous music if people didn't take risks. So sometimes the risks you take work for you, and sometimes the risks you take don't. And you find what works for you and what doesn't over time. And so that's what I feel that I've done in my career, my life, many different things like that. So it's exciting to bring out something that I feel very connected to in every way, that I thought of from the moment that I developed it. It was all just sort of my creative idea. It's a Man's World has been.
The title, It's a Man's World, it sounds a bit ironic coming from you, being a strong woman. And then
well, that was the whole purpose. I think I've always done that kind of twist on words when I say, you know, freak of nature. And It's a Man's World, it's kind of how I look at life. It's kind of ironic that I'm always described quite manly in certain ways of my strength and my power and my, you know, people have used the word she's ballsy, you know, but I'm like, not really ballsy, but, you know, maybe ballsy up here, you know. So I think that that It's a Man's World fits very well with who I am, as well as the fact that I did only men's rock songs on this album. So it kind of had a double entendre. And then It's a Man's World, being a woman, it's one of those also, it crosses the borders of, it's not a man's world. You know, I mean, you couldn't even have a man without a woman. You couldn't have a woman without a man. So it's never really somebody's world. But I think that it's a catchy title that worked well in my head when thinking, what a great title for the concept album that I was coming up with. And just that title never left my head, no matter how many songs I picked, no matter what titles of those songs were, it just seemed like the right title.